What causes two people to be attracted to each other? Interpersonal attraction varies from couple to couple, but social psychologists believe there are simple determinants to why this occurs. In this segment, our real-life couples share some stories of their own attraction, from their first impressions of each other to the relationship that developed over time.
We met at Boston College a number of years ago, actually in 1970. And I was running a workshop, summer program, and Jan was the administrative assistant hosting the program for the school. As there were many of us in the program, so it wasn't, I don't have a particular memory about being love at first sight or anything of that sort. But we worked together for about 6 weeks.
His memory's really different than mine, because I was used to guys at the country club that didn't have any facial hair, they had short haircuts, I don't know, wore button-down shirts. And Eddie was definitely a hippie with a ponytail and a full beard and kind of a romantic character.
I guess. That was cute.
We met online because I wrote to you. Okay?
That's true. After I posted my
We were both
profile.
members of JDate, which is a subset of Match.com. The routine is you do a search based on certain parameters, certain age and location and mutual interests. So, you correspond once or twice, and then you talk on the phone and meet. And from the time we met, we saw each other every week until this very day.
Well, it was January, and we were in the Portland, Oregon airport. And I was reading and sitting there probably about 45 minutes before the flight.
Yeah, I bet.
And David came and sat down, and we started talking. And so then we were walking down onto the airplane, and I had my boarding pass out, and he looked over my shoulder and saw my boarding pass, and that we had seats right next to each other on the airplane. So it was a 2.5-hour flight, and we just talked the whole time, and really hit it off.
We met about 3.5 years ago at a birthday party of a friend of mine, and Wendy was there. I mean, the first time I saw her, who's this? And from there, we kind of hit it off immediately, going back and forth, talking about, our lives and things.
We had really great conversation. I was initially attracted to him as well, and I wanted to sit next to him, but I was like, I didn't want to be very obvious, and so I sat almost across from him, but we talked all night.
From the minute that we met, we had just so much to talk about. There was never and this has continued all of these years since, there's never a minute of quiet. I mean, we always have something of interest to share with the other person, and we're just really on each other's wavelength, and it just became evident immediately.
We definitely came up in very similar families. Our fathers are both doctors, and our mothers are both in social work, counseling. And both of our parents are divorced, and we're both from Oregon. Very similar sort of lives. And he has 2 sisters. I have 2 brothers.
Well, I'm a writer also. I'm actually getting master's in creative writing, and I was talking to him about my writing, and he seemed to be very interested. And he just seemed to be extremely smart, very knowledgeable, and well-read, and I like that. Yeah.
Yeah, she was. Actually, that was one of the things that first attracted me to her, because when she told me that she's a writer and she likes write short stories, and me, I'm a bookworm. I'll read just about anything you put in front of me. So we really vibed and started talking about that, as well as we talked about numerous political and social things, and we really seemed to be in sync on a lot of those things too. And it was a very good conversation.
Yeah.
I think one of the things that attract us both is we both have very strong family energy and a connection in terms of being committed to have a family and to be responsible for bringing children, kids into the world. And my cultural tradition was very family oriented in terms of where I grew up. There were a lot of aunts and uncles. I had 21 first cousins, and so there was a lot of activity, and we were always doing things together. And I felt like that was one part of what we resonated with, although we're very different. That was a thing that attracted, I think, us together.
The first similarities were, I think, intellectual. She's incredibly bright. She's really one of the bright, and I've been to Harvard Graduate School, so I met a lot of bright women, and she's really right up there with them, and just one of the best read people I've ever met, with a phenomenal vocabulary and a wide range of knowledge. I didn't know at the time that she actually, is a doctor self-conferred in many disciplines, not just confined to one.
We're both training for a triathlon that her older brother kind of got us into, and so we're both doing this beginner's triathlon in about a month. So we've been spending a lot of time at the gym, just kind of swimming, running, biking, that sort of thing. And then, I don't know, we just kind of been doing a lot of stuff at home. Like, I do a fair amount of cooking, and
I do a fair amount of eating.
We do a lot of different things. Like, I mean, anything from going out to eat to going to a play, or going to friend's house, or
Going for walks.
yeah,
or
we actually
that.
we've been doing that, and cooking together. That's actually something that we like to do.
So that's an interesting question, how we spend time together.
I think it is one of the challenges of being married and having a family, because I feel like our emphasis was on the family, and then if there was any space, we took it out by ourselves, and the last piece of it was being together. So for a large part of our relationship, it's been making space for that to happen. I think now, we just walking together. It's pretty simple.
But also I think an important way that we spend time together is we have a large set of friends that are mutual friends. I mean, almost all of our friends we're both friends with. So in terms of partying or having dinners together or going someplace, there's a network that we really share.
Before, when we felt like we constantly had to be doing things that were entertaining, now we can just hang out and spend time together. We can just, he'll come in while I'm cooking and doing all my chopping stuff, or if he realizes that it's too boring to watch onions saute, he'll mow the lawn or something. So just the fact that we're kind of in each other's orbits a lot of time for the weekend makes us content.
I told him about my past and things about myself immediately. I mean, like after dating for a few weeks, and I felt very comfortable, and he reacted to those things with a lot of compassion. And so I just think that it was like a level of comfort that was never there before. Like I feel like I could tell this, I could open up my soul to this guy, and he's gonna take care of it.
What took me a while to realize in this relationship, and what made it different from other relationships I had been in, was that I didn't have to worry about doing things right, or, oh, did I cook this too long? Did I burn this? Did I say the wrong thing? And if I say this wrong thing, is he going to think this misguided idea about me? It was as though everything I said or do, he's supportive of.
For the most part, I thought, I'd meet nice girls, but there was always something major missing, And I just felt like I had, certain check boxes that, I wanted to fill, and most girls just, didn't do it. And then all of a sudden I met Sarah, and, she's outgoing, she's social. She's so easy to talk to. She's beautiful, she's athletic, and it was just, everything was there. So it just made it really easy.
Once after that initial infatuation, euphoria kind of like, cools down and everything, whatever. I mean, the one thing I have to say that's different in this relationship than the ones that I've had previously is that the level of comfort and the level of acceptance that I have for her in terms of, the good things about her personality as well as the things that I can't stand.
I'd have to say it's the kids. In terms of the connection that we've had, I think it's been in raising them and being committed to that in a way that we're both connected to those set of events.
I've never been in a relationship where we never have any angry words. We've really never had what people would normally think of as a fight. I mean, we've had disagreements, or there have been subjects that have been maybe emotional, but it's never gotten to the point that we weren't talking or that we separated, even just to like take our time apart from each other and cool off. I mean, never ever like that. So I think that's unusual, because from my experience anyway.